Yo, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching. I think we can all appreciate a good bit of art every now and then. It can be a art piece that's a museum, it could be some music, or just some drawing we think is cool. But I think it takes a very refined and significant person to look at something like this and find a masterpiece of creation. But while I'm not doing all of
I can almost taste it.
that for some random piece, I do like looking at some pieces from very specific points in history. One of my favorites to look back on is art from ancient European times. Art in Europe has always been extremely important to the world, as some of the most famous and influential pieces come out of there, affecting the world and the cultures around it. Some of the most famous and influential art pieces that came out of ancient Europe all came from one place, ancient Greece. Greece throughout its history has always had an amazing culture and historical value tied to it. But one of Greece's most important periods was the aftermath of the Peloponnesic War. In this period, many Greek states were heavily weakened, leading to the rise of the famous Philip II, and later on his even more famous son, Alexander the Great. During his rule, Alexander had spread the Greek influence across the Mediterranean and Asia. The following cultural exchange led to the creation of new art pieces and sculpting methods, one of which being the marble votive. Okay, anyway, which was a type of art piece that we'll be discussing today, and more specifically, we'll be looking at the sculpture Marble Votive, relief dedicated to a hero. This piece is from the late 4th century. It was a marble stone carving made as some sort of offering to a deity or a semi-divine figure, or in this case, a hero. These sculptures were usually used for things like sanctuaries and shrines, sacred things. Now, the creator of this specific sculpture was unfortunately lost to the sand at the time, but there's still plenty we can speculate about it. In the sculpture, there's a person reclining at a meal of sorts and being approached by some worshippers. We can assume that these are worshippers based off the fact that they're carved, that their heads are tilted slightly downwards, and that their arms are close to their chest. This looks very similar to a common praying position, where one raises their arm close to their chest, claps their hands, in a closed position, praying to whatever god they believe in. The sculptor took special note to carve out the similarities between the praying pose and the statues, or the sculptees. Both make sure to understand that the people looking at it can understand that they're worshipping somebody, and to put the person laying down on the right in a position of importance. The person laying down on the right is important, in fact, because they call him a hero. I need a hero! Copyright! The hero is a person who died, and from their grave extruded the good and evil aura, and their aura was so strong that it demanded the appropriate honor from all those around it. Now, if we're assuming that the person on the right of the sculpture is supposed to be a hero, as the sculpture hints towards, then the cult surrounding it makes a lot of sense, because the people seem to be offering some sort of offering. Offerings were normally reserved for gods. They were normally things like animal sacrifices and offerings of food and water, but these activities seem to be captured in the sculpture, which is clearly targeted towards the hero.
Please notice me, senpai!
It really shows how much these people wanted to appeal and respect their hero, obviously. That respect stretches to every aspect of the sculpture, including the material. I'm not sure if I made it obvious by now, but the sculpture is made out of marble. And while finding marble sculptures and artworks today isn't super uncommon, that's for a good reason. Marble is extremely durable and lasts extremely long time against natural elements like ice and wind and stuff. So marble is extremely durable and resistant to most things, which made it a go-to material for crafters and sculptors back then. With those resistances in mind, it makes a lot of sense why sculptors made so many things like temples, altars, and statues out of them. They had a heavier emphasis on religion because they would stand the test of time. But for a bit of a bonus, I think we should compare this piece to another sculpture, one that was made in the honor of a god. This sculpture, whose name I put on screen because forget saying that, is a bit older than the first one, but we'll be looking at it because who cares, okay? They're both made out of marble, so let's look at the similarities. Both reliefs share a common details that highlight the stylistic and functional norms of ancient Greek art. First, they're both made out of marble. Second, both serve as voyage offerings, dedicated to divine or semi-divine figures. Finally, the artistic style of both pieces exemplifying the Greek mastery of naturalism. And now let's do some of the contrasts. The relief of, putting name up right there, is rooted in mythological in nature. The differences in the narrative focus must stem from their intended audience and purpose, and how one's meant for a cult and other one's meant for one that believe in gods. In conclusion, the enduring legacy of Greek art lies within its ability to blend technical mastery with profound topical depth. Through works like the marble votive relief dedicated to a hero, we see how not only art memorialized individuals, but also strengthens communal ties and reflected border cultural ideas. This synthesis of personal and collective significance is a testament on timeless renown of Greek artisans, which continues to inspire and inform our understanding of human experiences and creativity today.